My name is Yoko, and I work at Starbucks.
And how long have you worked at Starbucks, and which one?
I've been working at Starbucks for about 2 years, and I work in a store in Riverside, California.
And why did you decide to join a union?
I decided to join the union because I did my own research. I was kind of fed a false narrative by management based on what the union was going to be. I was told that I wouldn't be able to pick up hours at different stores, and there was a lot of fear tactics that were happening in the store. And I decided to do my own research and trust the partners that were pushing for the store to unionize, and I realized that joining it would be something bigger than myself. Like, it's something for the good of everybody working in the store.
And management, have they retaliated against union members, and are they trying to stop the union organizing effort?
Absolutely. At my store, specifically me, I'm a shift supervisor. I'm the only shift supervisor that actively wears a union pin, and I'm in ASU, and for about 3 months my manager was keeping my hours at 19 when you need 20 in order to receive that benefit. And so I had to kind of risk my job and stay over a little bit or stay late. That way I'm able to get those hours and stay in college.
And it seems like it's illegal, it should be illegal to discriminate. But it seems like they're flagrantly violating labor law. Is that true?
Absolutely. It definitely is illegal, but it's kind of weird because the way that they do it is very minimal. They'll slightly lower your hours. So let's say if I was working 25, it'll be okay, now you're just working 19 because we don't have the labor. I went through a lot of things where my manager would tell me to transfer, has asked me, kind of lied to me and told me that they would talk to all the shift leads and tell them that everyone would be losing their hours. The average is going to be 18 or something for shift leads, which is crazy because we're shift supervisors, and told me that they would talk to all of them and only talk to me about that. And so I've faced a lot of retaliation, discrimination because of it, but I continue to wear the pin every day.
And have you been involved in any of these strikes?
I certainly have. We actually did a strike at our store, which was a huge success, along with the strikes on the Starbucks tour that have been very successful as well.
And what are the strikes on the Starbucks tour?
So we are standing in solidarity with a lot of stores across the country. Right now we're on the West Coast tour. It started in LA, so we did a couple of strikes out in LA. We did a strike in I think Silicon Valley yesterday. We're going to a lot of different cities, and we're standing in solidarity with partners that are striking, and we're asking customers not to cross the picket line. Just a lot of great stuff.
And in ALA, there's a strike of the SAG-AFTRA and the writers. Why don't you talk about what happened there?
Oh my goodness, that was everybody had goosebumps that day. That was amazing. We stood in solidarity with them. I actually got a fist bump from Jack Black, and he said Starbucks solidarity. So that was really amazing. Jane Fonda spoke. A lot of great speakers were out there, and I think I didn't realize it, but somebody said that a lot of aspiring actors work at Starbucks, and so it felt really good to unite on that.
And do you think there's a growing strike wave? People are fed up. Young people want to see a union and change this country?
Absolutely. I definitely think this is the generation that is standing up against the man. We definitely deserve better rights, and I think we are just fed up, and we have social media, and I think that that's a very great asset to talk to people from New York and be hey, let's do something together. And
how has that affected organizing nationally? You use social media a lot?
I do use social media a lot. There's a Starbucks Workers United page, and within that, a lot of stores have their own Starbucks Workers United pages as well, and so we're able to group up and do a lot of great stuff that way. I think it's making organizing and striking and action a lot easier.
And this company, even though many stores have voted for the union, refused to sign any union contracts, you think that should be legal?
Absolutely. We have over 300 stores that have voted yes on a union, and Starbucks has yet to negotiate with any of them, including my store. Our store's anniversary was, I believe, July 29th in Riverside, California, and we have yet to hear anything back about that.
You think the executives and owners should be put on trial for conspiring to union bust? I mean, it seems like they're flagrantly violating your rights. They're spending millions on lawyers to destroy the union. You think that they should be held accountable?
I I do. I watched the subpoena of Howard Schultz, and I think that was a really great first step. But I would also like to see more because it seemed like it kind of just ended, and I want to see what more Howard has to say, even though he stepped down as the CEO.
He thought he could turn it around.
Right. There's a lot going on that. They were like, we've never union busted, and obviously they definitely have.
So he was straight out lying.
I think so. Yeah.
And what do you say to other young workers who are facing the same situation, that they want some rights on the job and they believe a union is important to them?
I would say definitely just realize that you're not alone. There's a lot of young workers, not just Starbucks workers, but like SAG workers. There's other workers too that all want to stand in solidarity, and you have such a strong community within people that are willing to support you. And definitely ask your other workers how they're really feeling, because they could be feeling or acting like they're feeling one way and then really want to turn it around and do some action.
My name is Martha. Operating robots in the work.
At the airport, they have these automatic coffee machines now, or?
Oh, that's right.
I think it's a good initiative, but I think it's also vital, the hands-on, the experience that you have while there's someone there making your coffee for you. Customer connections, yes.
How long have you worked at Starbucks?
I worked there for 2 years, yes. I'm also a Las Vegas partner.
What does that mean?
That
A Las Vegas partner.
we're here to fight for our rights.
My name is Omar. Yes.
Thank you. And in Las Vegas, what are the laws in Las Vegas or Nevada for union organizing?
Well, I'm not too sure I'm not sure to answer that question, just because we just became the third store to become union, so we're still.
Do you have support among your customers?
Yes, we do.
What do they say?
They said that they're actually happy about it, because they know that our store is a very high volume store, and we do need that support,
Yes, yeah.
You feel the same way?
Yeah, I feel the same way. We mentioned it to our partners, we're thinking that this might be a transition. We don't know how our management would react, and they were all really supportive of us.
So I'm actually from Arizona. I'm here on a trip with Workers United, and we're just down here showing our support and our solidarity for our other Starbucks workers that are organizing in the area or that are already organized. Some of the issues that I'm facing in my store are constant understaffing. Our manager's not exactly on with us just yet, but we are working on that in our store, which has been really fun. And just fighting for better pay, better wages, more consistent hours, and stuff like that. So.
And how long have you been working at Starbucks?
I'm on my second year right now, so I'll be on my second year in September.
And have they tried to stop unionization?
Yes, at my current store, not so much, but I got my start in Louisiana, and down there the union busting was really bad.
Like what? What does that mean?
So union busting is just any efforts to stop unionization efforts. So there was a lot of just misinformation being spread around. There was fight back from our manager. Anytime that we would have anything union related in our store, they'd immediately take it down, saying no, these people aren't for you, stuff like that, and it's highly illegal.
And there was a national strike recently over taking down material for gays, the right to gays. What happened? Were you involved in that?
I was not involved with that, so I can't give you any info.
And so your store how long has it been union?
We certified this year in April, so not too long, but we've been part of the union effort for a little bit longer than that.
And it seems like Starbucks is refusing to sign a union contract. Does that concern you?
Yes, it is concerning, especially for stores that have been certified longer than we have. Like I said, we're still pretty new within April, so Starbucks is kind of using the excuse that, most contracts take over a year anyways. That's not a good excuse. Come bargain with us. We're here, we're ready, and as soon as we are able to get to the bargaining table with them, we are more than happy to sit down and discuss, but they keep on leaving.
You think that that's a tactic to try to weaken people or drive people away by saying you're not going to get a union, even if you vote for a union?
It's definitely a union busting tactic. The more that they see that they're frustrated and just trying to pivot the blame on us instead of taking accountability for themselves, that's really where it just continuously, it's a snake biting its own tail.
And Arizona, they're, I think, anti-labor state as far as labor rights. What does that mean?
Arizona is a right-to-work state, which means at any point in time I can be dismissed from my job, and as long as it's not for anything union-related, it's fine. Like, I could be fired immediately just because they don't want to hire me, and that's honestly part of the reason why my store unionized in the first place, just to give us more protection from that. Arizona definitely is an interesting state for labor in terms of wages too. The minimum wage is on the rise, however, it's not sustainable for people to pay their bills on. And then companies, especially like Arizona is #1 in the country, I believe, for local businesses. So that's pretty insane to think about, and most of those local businesses can't keep up with the wages rise because they just don't make enough business because of how many people are down there.
And there's also a weather crisis. Is that an issue for people in Arizona?
Oh yes, people are getting third-degree burns from falling on the concrete and the asphalt. Like, it is insane down there. I think before I left and came to California, it was around 120 degrees in my city, and air conditioners are going out constantly. People are passing away in their homes because of heat exhaustion. People don't stay hydrated. They don't have enough sun protection with them because they're not expecting the heat. And as soon as you get outside, it's miserable.
And you say people are dying. It sounds like an emergency for people.
Oh, it absolutely is an emergency, and I don't see a lot of people just like supporting, especially in my area. I live in Gilbert, so there's not a lot of foot traffic there. A lot of people are just staying inside. Like, my air conditioner went out as soon as I came over here. Thankfully, my sister was there to take care of it, but it was like 90 degrees in our home. So it's like, that was an emergency that has to be fixed. Thankfully in Arizona, any like renters or like landlords, if your air conditioner goes out, that has to be fixed within 24 hours, or they have to provide an alternative. Most places don't do that.
And workers who work outside, what is their situation?
We're actually not allowed to work outside in most of those conditions. Like, even if like the weather is over 100, we're not supposed to be doing things like trash runs or working outside. But like, even for them, like, they have to stay hydrated. They have to wear sunscreen, a lot of sun protection, a lot of sun clothing. But those workers too are constantly passing out from heat exhaustion.
And young workers seem to be organizing, deciding they want a union. You think that it's spreading in this country?
Oh, it absolutely is spreading. I'm a young organizer myself. I'm 21, so it's really refreshing to see like kids from my generation finally realizing like, hey, we do have a voice whenever we're united together.
You think it's going to grow?
I think it's going to grow. It's already growing, especially with like the Starbuck tour. I don't know if you've already seen it. Like, it's so refreshing to see how many like young supporters, like my age, around my age, even younger. Like, we have a 20-year-old on that bus, just like constantly just like fighting for what they believe in, and I 100% see it spreading in this country.
And what can people do to support you?
We have a petition online that you can see on the Starbucks Workers United website if you want to support your local Starbucks baristas as they continue to fight back against the union busting, and just like, we want to work for Starbucks. So it's just like, there's a petition there, and you can always just stay informed, keep up what's going on. It's always a good thing.
Hello, my name's Ayana Johns. I work at a Starbucks store in Riverside, California. We're here today. We're on the Starbucks tour. We're going up along the West Coast. It's just basically just a movement to help us organize both stores going up, and also like build solidarity with the stores that have already organized, and even other organizations that are fighting for similar things as ours.
And why did you decide to join a union?
There's a lot of reasons. My store in particular was pretty rough, especially during COVID. A lot of like partners were getting pretty uncomfortable with like the conditions they're being asked to work in, both unsafe and also very unfair, both with like how management treated us. We didn't really have like Band-Aids or like a first aid kit in the back. It's a lot of bad stuff. And then I just reached out to Starbucks Workers United on Instagram and started telling them what was going on, and they were telling me about other stores that are experiencing the same thing, and we kind of moved up from there. I was just kind of tired of seeing my my fellow partners like upset and miserable at work.
And how long have you the store vote to have union?
Wait, how long? Wait.
How long ago was it?
Oh, our year anniversary was actually on the 29th when we won our election. So yeah.
And was there any retaliation by management, the fact you voted for a union?
Oh, of course. There was a lot of the like anti-union messages that were going around the stores, that partners would lose their benefits, be kicked out of the Starbucks ASU program, college program. So there's a lot, and there still is a lot, even right now.
What do they do?
A lot of the new people that come in, they try to like say negative things about the union to new people, or tell the new people that we're going to revote, or that it's embarrassing that we're a part of a union at our store and things like that.
And it seems like, you've been you voted for a union for some time, but they won't sign a contract. You think they're trying to keep the union out?
Oh, I definitely think, I think that's what they're trying to do. Because it's all just about saving money for them. They're not really regarding us as like people in the workplace, and so I think that's what they're doing, yeah.
And there's an issue of AI. There's automatic machines now for coffee at the airports. Are you concerned that that's a future for a problem for working people with automation and AI?
Yes, actually, I think that's what companies are trying to turn us into, and it's not working, so they're turning to that. So, yeah, I think that's a little concerning.
My name's Hannah, and I work in Riverside, California.
And how long have you worked at Starbucks?
Almost a year. You'll be in October.
And why did you decide to join the union?
I decided to join the union because I really quickly noticed a lot of injustice at my store, and just a lot of overall disrespect to our partners from management, and I just felt like if there was any way I could make a difference, I'd want to be involved.
And did they retaliate against people who joined the union?
They do. They definitely do. The first time I started wearing a union pin at work, I started getting less hours, very minimal changes, but noticeable. My manager didn't talk to me as often, or didn't talk to me with the same tone that she did before. I also wasn't given as many opportunities to be put where I wanted to be in the store. A lot of times they'll ask you where you want to be or what you're comfortable with. I also was given a lot more criticism on my overall work performance when I hadn't made any major changes to my work ethic.
You think they're trying to drive you out?
Yes, definitely.
And are they successful with those tactics against Starbucks workers who want a union?
I think they think they might be, but I'm going to say no. Because we're all here, so no.
And how long have you voted for a union? How long ago was that?
My store voted for and won our union election just over a year ago on June 29th, or July 29th. And we still haven't gotten our certifications or anything.
So do you think they're trying to stall and hope people give up or weaken by not recognizing a union or signing union contracts?
Exactly. That's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to make it a bad place to work so that the people that they don't want to be there will leave. And unfortunately, we know better.
And you think it should be illegal for what they're doing? It sounds like they're basically union busting, refusing to negotiate, and trying to drive people away. It should be. You think it should be illegal?
Yeah. A lot of what they're doing is already illegal. They have one of the largest union busting campaigns in history.
They're spending a lot of money, millions?
Millions of dollars. They would rather spend millions of dollars than to bargain with us, and I think that's unfortunate.
And a lot of young people now seem to feel that they need a union. Why is that?
I think because as a society, our generation maybe, I just feel that things could be better, and they could have been better a long time ago, and I think it's just time for a change to happen, and so it's nice that collectively we're working on that together.
Okay, and you're going to continue the fight?
Absolutely.
I'm Nicholas. I'm from Fremont and Mary in Sunnyvale.
Okay, and you're organizing a union there?
Yeah, we co-collaborated on the strike as a group. I was not one of the lead organizers of the union, though.
So why did you decide to join a union?
That's a long answer. I think it comes down to workers' rights and getting a contract. There are a lot of promises that Starbucks makes that they do not deliver on. A huge thing that they're very known for is their progressivism and their benefits, their amazing benefits. When I was hired, the store manager at the time made it very clear that I would receive 20 hours and benefits. And then as soon as I was on schedule, I was on 17 and a half hours. And this might sound silly, but at the time I was I'm sure maybe they're just taking out breaks. They wouldn't lie to me. They know what they're talking. And also they said it 4 times that you're going to be on the hours, you're going to have enough to get benefits. It wasn't until I talked to one of the union organizers they were that's not how it works. You're not getting benefits.
They're doing this on purpose to save money so they don't have to pay benefits?
So that they don't have to give benefits. Also, they just have a lot of we're always short of staff and kind of struggling, but we all want more hours. And so it's a very simple solution. Just give us the hours that we need so we're not understaffed. Also, some store managers have talked, and they said that as store managers, corporate gives them an algorithm based off of like how many people to assign like per shift. And if they assign more people, which is like a decent amount to be on staff, they'll get punished by corporate. And we've also heard like our bosses being like yelled at on the phone. And
So it sounds like they're terrorizing people, stressed out and pressure. And this, what does it do to have short staffing, the stress for yourself and others?
yeah, and also one more thing before I move on that. Also, I heard that if they put in less people than what's on the algorithm, which is already very short staffed, they get a bonus.
So they cover this by algorithms now.
That is what I have heard from the union, and that's what store managers have told the union. To go back to your question about the stress, it is very stressful. It's very stressful, like, because obviously customers are frustrated, and we understand, like, waiting 30 minutes for a drink is very stressful. But I would also encourage customers to understand that, like, we are doing our best, and it is corporate. It's not a specific manager that we're targeting. This is a nationwide issue, and if you ask, like, hey, why are you unionizing? It's staffing and hours are the main two concerns. So it's stressful for us because we're falling behind, but at the same time, we're not making money because we have so few hours that, like I needed to get 2 other jobs, so.
So you have to work a bunch of jobs just to survive.
Yeah, and like my coworker yesterday, we were on strike, and she was sharing her own story about how she was promised to get 20 hours to get ASU. Starbucks is well known for like giving free college tuition. So she asked the manager 3 times, like if she can get 20 hours to get tuition. All 3 times the manager said yes, and she received a maximum, not minimum, a maximum of 14-hour shifts. So it's really, we want to make it clear that it's not like a specific manager or anyone that we're targeting, it's just corporate.
Sounds like a system.
It really does sound like a system, and which is why we really need a contract signed, because they're getting away with it. Just false promises not following through, but with the contract they have to follow through. So that's
It sounds like they're flagrantly violating labor law, which says they're not supposed to discriminate, they're not supposed to retaliate.
Celeste Ibarra. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is, you know, like, they always talk about mission and values, and they're always talking about, you know, how we can better the store within the system, but when they are the ones not taking accountability for understaffing, you know, being overworked and not having, you know, enough for people to live, it's just like, these are things that need to be brought up to corporate, and these are things like, with like, things that we can't do in the store. Like, this has to go all the way up, and this is why we unionize, and this is why we're together, to make sure that they know that we are not going to put up with this, and that we deserve better, not only as people, but as workers. If we are going to continue working for you, you might as well make it a place where we can depend on it, because most people, you know, like how Nick was saying, like, he has to get other jobs just to make it by, and it's not fair. And like, we have so much in us, and like, I think that if we continue to organize and we continue to unionize, we can, you know, potentially make things better for everyone, and, you know, having not to work as much anymore, and
And you think young people in this country are getting fed up?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, most of, you know, the people who are organizing are the younger generation, and I think the younger generation is capable of so many things, and, you know, changing the stigma behind, you know, working and stuff. And I think that it's really important that we're taking the lead in this, you know, trying to prove like these corporate companies wrong, and just showing that with strength in numbers that we can, you know, inevitably just like get things done.
And were you in Los Angeles with the actors and actresses,
No,
SAG-AFTRA?
I wasn't, no. I just joined a day ago. Yeah, I'm from
Did you get time off from work?
Yes, I did. Yeah, not a lot of people did. Unfortunately, not a lot of people could go to the bus with us, but yeah, from Fremont and Mary.